Part 3. Once my ex heard about my gut bacteria and all my medical troubles, she called to say that we should be friends and that she would make sure I stayed on our insurance through her work. She asked to meet up again and I declined, knowing she wanted to rekindle the feels. As soon as I hung up, she began forging documents and turned in a letter of legal separation to HR to ban me from insurance. Rapidly I found out at various doctor's appointments something was wrong with my coverage. All they would tell me is the policy was cancelled. I did my best to get COBRA insurance, but they could never activate it even though I was willing to fork over the $800 a month. It was a nightmare paying out of pocket and calling back and forth. I would call my ex and she would lament that she had no idea what was going on. Eventually I got the right person at HR and they told me they couldn't set up COBRA because they were looking for the judge who signed the legal separation documents my ex submitted. Appalled, further devastated, I asked them to define exactly what they meant. My ex had forged a court document, signed a false name where the judge's credentials would go, and submitted it to HR to illegally remove me from insurance pre-divorce. I exclaimed that they'd never find the judge and what they were holding was fraudulent. We had never been in court together or filed any legal document of separation. OMG. HR panicked like you've never seen and retroactively gave me back my insurance for all the time lost. That's also why I couldn't get the COBRA insurance, because they were waiting for this imaginary judge to confirm the legality of it all. I texted my ex furious that she'd better call HR and hasten the process, and she played dumb. Well, we are separated. I just don't want to do anything illegal. Such BS. We'd meet a week later and she'd hand me COBRA documents in my lawyer's office to feign offering help after the fact. She sold the house. Good for her. Except she sold it out from under me. She signed my name on all the documents, and never even gave me final amount. I had to find out through my lawyer and the discovery process. Yeah, that hurt too. She tried to attack my business and only left it alone because I said I'd go after her 401k. In hindsight, I wish I would've. Her retirement fund was basically our retirement fund, and there were conversations like I'd buy all the groceries because she was making contributions to our future. Being self-employed, my job didn't have that feature. While I was saving for retirement, it wasn't the matched account she had the privilege of building. She was totally ready to devastate my business too, but fortunately for me she was too cheap to hire a lawyer, and mine protected my assets and let her know that any judge would let me keep it and take her 401k if I wanted it. To this day she has continued to tell people I never wanted kids, and my poor mother just tears up at that fact because she knows it was the other way around. In further attempt to prove her ridiculous narrative, she is now pregnant with the AP's kid. That's right, they're still together even though she told me they had separated when we did. Turns out she waited about 6 months and then introduced this guy to the family as the new beau. He's an improv comic hobbyist, lol, but he works a day job, and that's where they met through her work. I found all this out because one of his friends FB cyber stalked me and just sent me the nicest message saying he was sorry about everything and that they're both disgusting people. This April, yes, 2 years later, I see these weird charges from the IRS to the tune of $12,000 go through my bank account. The numbers don't make sense and I call the bank and my accountant. You guessed it, my dearly departed ex used my checking account to pay off her taxes. Oopsies. I give her 24 hours to return the funds or I'm claiming fraudulent charges. In hindsight, I wish I would've and let the IRS penalize her into oblivion for it. We texted back and forth. She won't apologize for it, of course, and asks why I'm so upset. IT gets really stupid and I finally declare that I know who the AP is and maybe his friends shouldn't contact me online. She doesn't say anything about this situation, and the only response I ever receive is, "Who have you been talking to?" All this, and there's light at the end of the tunnel. Besides this person I cared deeply about at one point in my life, trying to invoke wrath and scorn to the limits of human tolerance, I'm here today to tell you I made it. Not only did I survive all this because I'm a champ, but I'm better off for it. The most obvious thing is you, the Redditor, are probably as sick and disgusted with this lady as I am. Human beings like this shouldn't be alive, and they certainly shouldn't bear children. This journey became so much more than that and has vaulted me to a new level of growth I am ecstatic about. Shortly after beginning therapy, I discovered that I am a fixer. I grew up in a home where I was devalued and my spouse fit right into that mold like a jigsaw piece. It felt like home, all her unquenchable demands and hoops to jump through. I was always shifting myself and trying to be the person I thought would make her happy while never being true to myself. Clearly, that strategy didn't work and set me up for failure laid out here. Because I was donating love without ever having concern for receiving it in return, one of the toughest lessons I had to walk through was dividing my ex from my own self-worth. Someone else here recently made a post and it clicked for me. I had loved her for so long and so truly that I had prescribed a certain amount of my own self-worth from our relationship. When that was severed, I unknowingly felt like my value had diminished, that I needed to prove myself to my ex, or somehow I was worth more when she was with me. What a tragic statement, and he couldn't even put my finger on that until recently. Not knowing myself, I never learned to be comfortable in my wants, goals and desires. I never learned to be comfortable in my accomplishments and my missteps. Late to this party, I never learned what my value to others could possibly be and just buried it all under the guise of trying to be good enough for others to like me. I was always outgoing and socially fun, but it didn't come from the right place. Now I can see the red flags in people. I understand what I bring to the table and what I want in this world. In the past year, I have grown so much in all these regards. I've discovered who my true friends and family are, and I'm beyond words with how much I appreciate them in my life. I met someone, a fine woman, who has her priorities in the right place. We love each other in a full reciprocated way. She shares my accomplishments with pride and shoulders the burden of obstacles together. She treats those around her, including me, with empathy and kindness on a foundation of strong resolve under these values. I feel truly blessed to know her and continue life's adventure with this young, passionate woman. We recently bought a camper van and for my 40th birthday are taking a cross-country road trip. It's all I could ask for and more, because it's filled with nuance that I would be incapable of knowing to ask for in my previous relationship. I could leave a rant as long as this mini novel here on all the simple and beautiful gestures she has bestowed on me. In the past year, my business has grown by leaps and bounds. I'm free to make decisions about it without fear of shame or scorn from my partner. I'm also able to take pride in what I've created, and I can work on it as ardently as I want or take a break and let my staff handle the day-to-day if I choose. It's a great place to be, and far better than it really was a few years ago when I thought I was in a happy marriage. For the first time in 30 years, I'm about to celebrate and enjoy my own birthday. It seems so small when I write it out, but it's a major milestone for me to accept who I am and be content in that. If you read all this, bless your heart and curiosity and the support you're giving and allowing me to share this openly and freely. I'm not sure if this post will help anyone, but it helped me and the cathartic process of shedding the betrayal caused by a human monster. TL, Doctor, hey, it's a rant. Oh, okay, so the nitty-gritty: wife of 10 years, GF for 20, and high school sweetheart had epic year-long affair without my knowledge. I almost died of pneumonia and DD hit a month later when I found out. She continued the betrayal by sticking the knife in every chance she could get by trying to stop me from realizing she sold our house, stealing from my checking account, illegally removing me from health insurance, and using my money to pay her IRS taxes 2 years later. I'm in a much better place without being strapped to this demon, and I've grown as a person more than I ever have previously in my life in the last 2 years. I also found a great life partner and am about to embark on great adventures with a person who treats me right and values me for me. Comment 1. Wow, thanks for the platinum Reddit. My goal was to share my personal story to benefit someone on the same trajectory as myself. Maybe lend some hindsight to someone who hasn't walked the entire path yet. Especially to my fellow man, as men don't often share their feelings, and I consider that if I laid it bare, maybe it would benefit another traveler adrift in the thick of it. Comment 2. She's living happily ever after. Back with the AP and the woman who told me for decades she never wanted kids is due this month. Funny cause she's fooled everyone that this is a guy she met about a year ago. Except why have a kid that quick then? One of his friends messaged me and said he was sorry and told me the AP's name. Never knew it until then, so when I told my ex I know how they met, she nearly jumped out of her skin. She's pitching this fairy tale to everyone that she randomly met some guy after she moved on. Comment 3. Thank you for sharing this story. I am in a 7 years relationship with my GF and we have been living together for the past 6 years. Mid-2018 I found out she has been cheating on me since around October 2017. I still don't understand what she truly wants, kept saying she didn't have feelings for the guy but still want to keep in touch with him after I told her to end it with him. She didn't want to lose me either. Then I gave her an ultimatum: I will still be here with her as long as she doesn't go out or meet that guy again. I just found out that she had met the guy 3 days ago for a few minutes outside her office. Nothing S-Timul like before, he only came to give her a cake he made. Now I have conflicting thoughts of what to do next. Sometimes I wish this will happen sooner and I will leave her immediately. Most of the time I kept thinking, how can I fix this relationship and make her see only me like I do with her? But now when presented with this opportunity to leave her for good, I don't know what to do with it. She is the most perfect woman in every way. I love her heart, the way she loves animals. We enjoy a lot of similar things. I even love her family. The only bad side about her is this cheating part. That is why I kept on hesitating, hoping someday she would stop. I don't know if I can pull the trigger, but reading your story somehow helps me. Thanks again. Hope I can make up my mind soon. Thanks you for watching. Everyday new movies. See you soon.